2. Oh, okay. You quoted me ripping on both modern Satanism and contemporary Christianity. Basically, that's how I denote the ordinary way that those things are conceived. The usual way that people see Satanism, and the usual way people see Christianity, which of course are both wrong. But how does one separate modern Satanism from authentic Satanism? And how does one separate contemporary Christianity from authentic Christianity? And here I'm talking about Gnostic Christianity, esoteric Christianity, left-hand path Christianity. We do this by going back to the roots, the origin. I think there's some good stuff buried deep within what passes for Satanism, Christianity, and other religions, like Buddhism, various faiths based on H.P. Lovecraft. You know, the Cthulhu cult isn't the only Lovecraft-based religion or sect, if you will. There are others, but you know, I feel a lot of them don't really get to the heart of the matter. You know, a lot of them are kind of fluff, and that's something I wanted to do with the Cult of Cthulhu. I wanted to get to, you know, the root, the foundation, the bedrock, and hopefully I've done that. You know, the people that experience the Cult of Cthulhu for themselves can judge, hopefully judging by their own results if they've taken our teaching to heart. But anyway, when I was sitting in that church 3 weeks ago, or whenever it was, you know, I was busy listening what I could to, you know, the different, I think there were a couple different priests talking, you know, reading from the Bible and whatnot. The singing, I'll grant you, the singing, not that you even mentioned the singing, but let me mention it here. The singing was awful. The singing was on par with the Olive Garden. It was horrendous. I could have done without that. However, what they were saying during the sermon, you know, was filtering, you know, the good from the bad, separating the wheat from the chaff. Was transforming a corrupted or misunderstood teaching of Christ to one that was, you know, more in keeping with what my personal philosophy and my personal teaching is about. For instance, you know, the way light refers to consciousness, the way sin refers to missing the mark or not living up to your potential. The kingdom of heaven refers to the conscious circle of humanity. I've written about the parallels between the authentic teachings of Christ and the teachings of Gurdjieff and Ouspensky. I've been talking about that for a long time, for years. You should know that, Dark Fool. Everybody should know that. You know, the Gospels and Gurdjieff, Ouspensky, Maurice Nicoll. You know, check him out. I got his book right here. The commentaries on Gurdjieff and Ouspensky. You know, volumes 1 through 5 by Maurice Nicoll. He knows his stuff, and he comes at the work from an esoteric Christianity perspective. So he's always relating it to the Bible and to, you know, the parts of Christianity that are real, that are substantive. You know, obviously, just like, you know, the esoteric order of Dagon and, you know, the, I don't know, the sect of Yog-Sothoth or whatever. You know, there are groups out there that are having fun with it, I guess, or they're playing with, you know, the outer surface of the real deal. I guess it doesn't hurt anybody, you know, it's not particularly enlightening or illuminating. It's just, it's just there. It's the same thing with people that put their faith into, money or cool cars or, I don't know, silly jester hats. It's meaningless on the face of it. And that's fine, I love meaningless things too sometimes. But I don't put my heart and soul into them. And maybe that's where we differ. Maybe that's just one of the many ways we differ. Anyway, the next quoted passage goes back to my rejection of a middle path, a position you should know all too well, because I schooled you regarding the function and validity of the left-hand path months ago. And we've talked about it many times. It wasn't until recently that you just kind of had some sort of, I don't know, mental breakdown with me, and decided that I was, no longer to be tolerated or taken seriously or chatted with. I was the devil to some degree, I guess. And that's fine. If you want me to be your devil, so be it. I'll be your Huckleberry. I'll be your Satan. Anyway, where was I? Oh, so the quoted passage, obviously I was talking about the middle path and how it doesn't exist, and how a compromise between, like a perfect compromise between the right-hand path and the left-hand path is impossible. Their two systems are antithetical. However, there is a way to reconcile a little bit of the right-hand path into the left-hand path. And I talk about that, ad nauseum in my various blogs up on the website, the Cult of Cthulhu website. So go check them out in the belief section if you're curious about that. So that's what I meant about, compromise, because there are some things in the left-hand path that need to be looked at and taken seriously. Elements from the right-hand path, like compromise, altruism, honor. But of course, if you take my words out of context, or if you don't provide a context, then, sure, anything I say can be misrepresented, misunderstood. If you want to do that deliberately, that's on you. I wrote a nice blog post a year or two ago called The Burden of Compromise. You could Google that, or find it on various places. The forum, it's on the Cthulhu-cult.com blog. Maybe even one or two other places. The Cthulhu Wiki. So check that out. Maybe I'll put a link down there if anyone's curious. Because there is absolutely a need for compromise at certain times. I'd be a pretty terrible leader if I didn't believe in compromise on some level. But there are many things I won't compromise about. Certain principles that I won't abandon, that I won't, drift away from. Some things are absolute. What else? Okay, well, a child's baptism, I don't know, that seems a pretty minimal thing to get all excited about. And I'm talking about myself, if I was to cause a big ruckus and be like, no, god damn it, no child of mine is going to set foot in, God's church, and I don't know, all that bluster and whatnot. It was like a 5-minute, quick and dirty, ceremony. I don't even want to call it a ceremony. I mean, there was some like call and response stuff, and a candle or two were lit. There was some water going on the baby's head. You know, it was. I've been baptized. Danielle, has been baptized. Both of our parents have been baptized. That's what they wanted. It became just a family thing, like a family picnic. You know, you gotta pick your battles. You know, and that is so far down the list of the things that I want or don't want, or couldn't care less, or don't give a shit about. That why fight it? I mean, there's going to be a lot of pitched battles, a lot of heated discussion down the road. With my wife, probably with my daughter, and hopefully future children, about the right way to do things and my approach, and I'll probably lecture them and give them advice, just like my father gives me and gave me when I was a youth. And then it's up for them to decide if they want to take my advice, take my wisdom, my teaching, and then throw it away, or use it, or maybe just sit and think on it. I'm not going to dictate what someone else does, or what someone else wants to do. In certain cases, when it's not life and death, and it's not a matter of someone's soul, I'm very willing to compromise. I'm a pretty easygoing guy, actually. I'm not a dictator, and I'm very rarely an asshole, but apparently I'm often a douchebag, and that's fine if a lot of people think that. That's cool. But, yeah, baptism, I mean, I just don't see what the big deal is. She's, our baby's 9 months now, and Briella is not really going to be swayed by one argument or the other right now. It's really anyone's game. God, Satan, Cthulhu, maybe the Easter Bunny. Who knows? Nothing's too ridiculous for my family. I'm almost done here. I guess that's it. There's probably some other stuff, but I'm kind of done talking about this now. I'd rather get on with the rest of my night. But I don't know. I think you made a mistake of trying to make a molehill out of a mountain from Tom Blackwood's Facebook blog. And you didn't even address in your video the actual comments that you made that I was referring to in my response. You can find that on the Cult of Cthulhu forum or social network. And your comments basically were that my wife was probably controlling me with sex and withholding sex, and that she obviously wears the pants in the family, because otherwise what excuse would I have to allow our daughter to be baptized in the Catholic Church? Oh my God. I don't know. I mean, you can take jabs if you want, even though you know that you're most likely wrong. I mean, I hope you know you're wrong, and you're... Actually, I don't know what's worse. I don't know if it's worse that if you're being malicious about it, and you're deliberately making shit up to try to make me look bad or make yourself look awesome, or if you really don't know and you're just guessing because you have such a low opinion of me, probably because you've been listening to a lot of asshats that don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Anyway, I'm not your, I'll be your Satan if you want, Dark Fool. But I'm not going to be your arch nemesis. I just, kind of like the baptism, I just don't give a shit enough about it. You know, I've got bigger fish to fry. I've got other shit to do. I just don't care that much. So if you want to keep kicking me around, you know, go ahead. Maybe I'll respond here and there. Whatever. But after I'm done with this, I'm just going to let it go, because I don't really care. So, but one other word to a fellow passive-aggressive comment monkey known as Beast Zeno. I don't know what he's trying to accomplish. You know, he's getting his little zings in there and his little jabs in, and like, oh, you've been owned, and oh, Venger doesn't know what he's talking about, blah blah blah. I don't know. You know, if Dark Fool was man enough to make a response video and address me directly, then maybe Beast Zeno can too, instead of just, you know, coming into different forum posts or different blogs or commenting on YouTube for a second or two and then jumping away before any real shit goes down. You know, if you want to confront someone, confront me. If that's what you want, I'm right here, come get me. But if all you're going to do is just make these little passive-aggressive, like, oh, gotcha, Venger, I don't know, that's just so weak. You're better than that. You know, Zach Black and Jason King used to do that shit too, and I think and Jason Sorrell, I think they finally learned that you're not going to get anywhere that way. You know, I mean, they're not going to take you seriously, or I'm going to call you on your shit, and then, I don't know, you'll actually have to deal with someone face to face in real life. That's supposedly what you're good at, right? You know, the personal phone call, you know, one-on-one. I don't know where that's gone, man. Maybe you still talk to people one-on-one, or maybe you just make funny little comments in the comment section, or on YouTube, or Facebook. I don't know. I mean, you've been pretty good at avoiding me for the last little while, you know, but lately it's just like, oh, other people are attacking Venger? Oh, hey, there's a bandwagon. Let me jump on. You know, that's how you want to roll? Fine. It's pretty pathetic, but whatever. I don't know. That's all I had to say on that. So, Dark Fool, see you when I see you, I guess. And everyone else, be well. Awake. Yeah, Cthulhu Fhtagn.